All right, so this is Shoe Quest number 2. And we are on our way to purchase for the second round of the Shoe Quest. So the first one, I won't say it was a miserable failure because I think we weeded out some issues with shoe design from the get-go, but
we succeeded.
Well, yes, clearly, but I think that what we need to do now is we need to start showing people what the limitations of this shoe design stuff really is.
Right.
And so the list and the recommendations that we got from our request was very, very heavy towards a brand.
Right.
And I think that we need to where we initially said, well, we're never going to test that because of the structure of the shoe. I think we really need to go after it. And maybe we'll be wrong. Yeah. Maybe we'll be wrong. I'm willing to take that risk. I don't think we will, but it's entirely possible.
Right.
But it'll make it interesting at minimum. So we're going to put it, we're going to go after, we're going to get a Nike shoe. And we're going to get the probably the most popular one that's being sold right now. So popular doesn't necessarily mean good, nor good for everything, but we're going to have to put it to the test because it is popular. It was strongly recommended by a number
over the place.
All over the place.
And actually see it in the gym.
Exactly.
So
exactly, because we did see a photo of somebody actually wearing the shoes that we're going to test, and it was very telling in regards to how the shoe structure will influence performance. So we'll see if we can either reproduce it or maybe it just totally surprises us.
Right.
I don't think it will.
Yeah.
But we're going to put it up against a shoe that I'm very interested in because of our previous shoe testing that we did a few years ago, where the Under Armour brand actually showed a very, very solid structure for crossover between activities. And so we're going to get one of the newer Under Armour brands, and we'll put it up against one of the newer Nike brands, and so we'll show them that one. Okay?
Sounds good.
So let's head to the store. Okay. So how did you sell the last pair of shoes then, if you couldn't distinguish? Did they just know what they wanted when they came in?
They asked for a MetCon and they asked for an Under Armour shoe. And
oh, what a coincidence. So we were doing the same thing. All right. So is it okay if we try a few on?
Yeah, that's fine.
And we'll just kind of, can we try all 3 of the MetCons on?
Yeah.
And just see which one we like best? Is that cool? All right. The free MetCon 2.
Free MetCon
So this was not here the last time we were here, correct?
No.
So I don't think it was.
So actually, midfoot not bad. Still not a lot of support in the heel, and does fold up pretty easily in the middle. But honestly, the back doesn't look terrible compared to most of the ones we've seen.
Okay. So maybe we'll have something here.
Right.
So we're going to try on all 3 pairs.
All 3 MetCons.
Let's try all 3 MetCons on, and we'll come up with what we perceive as to be the best choice for now.
Yep.
We can always come back and put the other ones to the test.
Yep.
What are we going to start with? Just grab the first one. What is this?
MetCon Sport.
Okay, MetCon Sport. So let's look at the structure by hand first. So midsole wise, he looks like he got some give there.
Yep.
Is that fair?
Not very supportive on the heel.
Okay. Okay.
So
And it's got the big fold.
But
okay.
it is the sport model, so they really like a loose, very flexible shoe with the sport models.
Okay. All right. Well, let's take. So this is the MetCon Sport.
Yep.
Okay. And so your initial thought on those is, as you put them on, literally as you put them on.
It's a slipper. It is a slipper. It is super loose in the toe. I mean, you can see here how much room I have in the toe.
Yeah.
I had to crank the strap on to get it tight enough that I didn't feel like my foot was going to slip out of it immediately.
Right.
It is just very soft and very loose.
Okay. Okay. You want to stand up in them and just see. Just move your foot around and just kind of. Oh yeah, like we can just see that there's not much structure here at all. Okay. So if you were to, like, without doing anything, your opinion on whether you would wear these for agility class?
I would immediately worry about the integrity of the shoe.
Okay. So we're gonna put those on the back burner then.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do that. Let's move on to free MetCon 2.
Yep.
All right.
So midsole a little more rigid than the sport.
Okay.
A little bit better on the toe.
I would say that the midsole looks pretty stiff as far as what we've been expecting.
Yeah,
I think.
so far, yeah.
Yeah. What about rear foot?
heel, not bad. Honestly, it takes a lot for me to press that in.
Okay, but it's still collapsible, so this is going to be a question mark.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's put them on. So what do we got here?
The free MetCon 2.
Okay, free MetCon 2. And so your first thought, just as you put them on.
Again, it's a slipper, it's a one piece. This is more secure around the entire back and kind of midfoot of the shoe.
Okay.
But it's super loose in the toe box. Again, it is just fabric.
So go ahead and just
At
wiggle
the
your toes
bottom.
around so
I
we
mean,
can
that
see that.
is, yeah, that
Okay.
is a lot of,
Okay.
it's just mesh, honestly, between my foot and the outside.
So if you stood up on that and just torque your foot inside the shoe, like just twist it. Yeah. And what do you feel there?
It's a lot of movement. I mean, that's the...
Do you feel like your midfoot's sliding or your heel, or is it just all forefoot?
It's honestly not. I don't feel like I'm sliding at all, but I am really driven towards the middle of the middle of my foot for the most part. Like I feel I'm inverting on both sides.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Inverting or everting?
Everting.
Okay.
And it just...
So do you feel like you got a wedge in the heel then that's kicking you out that way, or do you feel like it's a forefoot or a midfoot?
I feel like it's kind of a forefoot thing. I've just got too much. I've got too much movement at the front of the foot.
Okay.
And I haven't really moved yet.
All right. So far, potentially useful for the test.
It might not be bad.
Okay.
Honestly.
All right. So let's go to the shoe you have in your hands.
The MetCon 5X.
Okay. So let's run it through some. Yeah. Does that look stiffer to me than the prior shoes?
It is definitely the stiffest of the three that we've looked at, and like the whole bottom piece is moving with the shoe instead of it flexing before and after the midfoot.
Okay.
Heel is the most supportive of all three. This takes a lot for me to press it down that much, and then rolling up, like that's as much as I can get it.
Okay, so it's just bending in the toe box then.
Yeah.
So right now, this appears to be one of our favorite shoes as far as
So far,
the structure goes.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's put them on and let's see what the MetCon 5X. Now that looks the best so far to me when you're just wiggling your toes. So what's your first thought when you put them on?
It's the best feeling out of the three.
Okay.
By far.
How so?
It is tight throughout. I don't feel like I have too much room to move throughout the entire shoe, so it really feels like it's secure on my foot.
Okay. Give me like a rear foot, midfoot.
Honestly, it's really balanced. It's pretty balanced.
So you don't feel like you're rolling in or out?
I don't feel like I'm on rolling in or out. I don't feel like I'm moving forward or back when I shift around. It feels pretty secure on my foot.
Okay. All right, stand up on it. Let's just see. What do we got?
Yeah, same. I don't know. It's. I'm surprised. It does feel very secure. It's very flat on the bottom feeling. I don't feel like I've got too much heel to toe, and I've got enough room to be comfortable in the front and the toe box, but not too much.
Okay. So this seems like the best choice of the three.
I think so.
Okay. So let's get these, and then we will head back to the gym and we will test them. Okay. This is a shoe that we had sent to us because we couldn't find it in the store. I just wanted to really give it a try. So which one is this now?
This is the Under Armour Tribase Thrive.
Okay. So let's just run it through some tests. What do you feel about the torque?
Not bad. I mean, again, a lot like the MetCon that we picked up. It's moves as one piece, pretty stiff in the midfoot. I like that a lot.
Okay.
Honestly, only a little bit of room to move in the toe box, and then the heel is super supportive on the backside. Also, it's hard for me to get that down.
Okay, so as far as structure, it's going to be very comparable then to the MetCon that we did pick up.
These are honestly a very similar feeling shoe from the outside.
Okay. Well, let's put them on and see what it feels like. Say what you just said.
If you gave me these shoes blind without me seeing them and I was able to feel the structure of them, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
So this is going to be a really interesting test then because we're going to have two really similar shoes, where last time we had two extremely different shoes. Okay, so this will be fun. Let's put them on. These are the Under Armour Tribase Thrive.
Yep.
Okay, so just by putting them on, just give me like a secure kind of a feel sensation.
Good. I mean, not a lot of movement in the toe, enough that I can feel comfortable, and I feel like my toes are able to spread a little bit, but not overdoing it.
Okay.
It's tight around the ankle, very flat on the bottom, which feels nice.
All right. Go ahead and stand up in them.
Yeah.
What do you feel like you are on the shoe?
Good. I mean, I'm really secure in the shoe. It moves with my foot really well.
Go heel, midfoot, forefoot.
Heel's very secure. It's low, but I feel like I still have movement at the ankle really
The
well.
heel's low?
The heel is low on the back.
Do you feel like you're sliding up out of the shoe?
Not at all, though. That's the thing.
Okay, so it's hugging on to your heel.
It is.
Okay.
The midfoot is really supportive. I do like that it's a two-piece compared to a lot of times we see a one-piece that is.
Right.
It doesn't tighten as well.
Right.
So this shoe does feel really supportive.
So
to
less
the
of a
midfoot.
slipper concept that a
Yes.
lot of shoes are going to.
Yeah.
And so this has a little bit more structure to it.
Yeah.
And then your forefoot, you feel like compared
I mean,
to
it's a wide toe box.
Mhm.
I wouldn't call it a narrow toe box at all, but it also is very supportive just based on the fabric that it has on it.
So this one seems to be reinforced very similarly to the MetCon
It
that we were
is.
looking at before, where a lot of the fabric-oriented shoes are very, very slipper-like.
Right.
The MetCon that we did select had that reinforced structure to
Yeah.
it throughout, and that's always been one of the criticisms of the shoes that we've been looking at, is that it's too soft a fabric, it's too
Right.
stretchy. This provides some of that element of resistance, especially for the stuff that we're going to run through, which is change of direction, the
Right.
speed-oriented stuff.
Right.
So this will be a fun test.
Yeah.
Okay, so debrief time. So we've got two shoes. One that I was really hoping for from my biased perspective, just because of my history, and then one that I didn't want to be successful just because of my history.
Right.
And so I got to really step away from this one because I'm going to trust in you,
Yeah.
since you got to do most of the testing, as you always do, because you're just younger and more agile. But in all seriousness, so let's break these down, kind of going back to our initial thoughts with your first sensations of putting the shoes on and then the shoe test. I think we started with something that seemed very, very similar
Absolutely.
in product.
Absolutely. Yeah, essentially both shoes, and I mentioned this to Bill off camera, felt the same. They felt like if I was blindfolded and you put both the shoes on me, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the shoes, honestly. And the fit from a seated and standing position felt exactly the same.
Okay, so that's right there is kind of powerful, because now we have an issue with literally trying the shoes on in the store, creating a perception of how they should perform. So if they feel the same and they test the same manually, I would expect the shoes to behave the same.
Right.
And now we need to decide, is that what happened? So let's talk about the Nike first.
Okay.
So this is the Nike
MetCon 5X, I believe.
MetCon 5X.
Yep.
Okay.
So this is the newest model. This is one that I've actually seen on the gym floor here.
Okay.
Not with someone who does a lot of speed and agility work, but someone who does a lot of weightlifting.
Okay.
Overall, like we showed you in the demonstration with the movement, a pretty rigid midsole, a little bit of flexibility in the toe box, and a pretty tight heel.
Yeah.
With the performance stuff.
Okay. So let's go from acceleration
Okay.
to the side. So straight
Can we
ahead.
start before acceleration?
Straight ahead elements first. So straight ahead acceleration.
Okay.
How to perform.
From a walking standpoint, let's go
okay.
first.
Okay.
Lace it up, tight it as I have a preference to tie shoes tight.
Okay.
I really like to yank on the knot. My heel was slipping out of the shoe, and I had to retie twice before we started doing linear acceleration.
Okay, so just as and this is a difference from literally just standing up and trying them on the store to walking around on the turf.
So very, very low level.
Wow. Okay.
I took probably from the area that we tied them to the area where we did linear acceleration, 5-10 steps, and had to retie twice to get a feel that I liked, that felt secure in the shoe, like I could do an athletic movement after that.
Got it. Like just from a security standpoint.
Yeah, my heel slipped out of it, not fully, but I felt my heel lift off the bottom.
Wow. Okay.
Of the shoe.
Okay. All right.
Just in walking.
All righty. Okay. So now, you did some jumping as well. So as you're jumping and landing, are you feeling the same thing?
I don't notice it as much there because I was on my toe for a lot of the jumping exercises. So the toe box felt good for the jumps.
Okay.
The midfoot felt good for the jumps. I didn't notice heel slippage as an issue with the hurdle hops or anything that we did on the box.
So even the side to side, it was not an issue.
Side to side
so the lateral quickness stuff was okay.
Right, but you have to take that in the context of how dynamic. Most of that side to side stuff on the box was a first step type of thing.
Right.
Repeated, we had more issue at. So,
okay, so clarify.
So with the 5-10-5, not a lot of security in my initial push. Very little security in my actual first cut on the 5-10-5.
Okay.
So a lot.
Did you feel like you were sliding in the shoe?
A lot of slide. So actually, like in a cartoon where someone will run and they'll ripple the carpet behind them.
Right.
I was rippling. I felt like I was rippling the carpet. So my plant angle was too narrow because I felt like I think
visually you can see
absolutely.
it. You can see
because
it.
I couldn't get too far away from my center of gravity. I felt like I was going to slip out of it at that point. So I had to keep my.
You felt like you were going to come out of the shoe?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it wasn't like this instability, I'm going to roll my ankle. It was literally going to slide out of the shoe.
Into the deceleration, I felt slide, and then out of the cut, like my first step out of the cut, I'm going to come out of these shoes.
Okay.
So I had to keep that narrow, so I couldn't push hard enough to come out of the shoe, really.
Okay. What about the weightlifting stuff?
Good. I didn't know.
No problems on the platform.
So I'll take that back. I didn't have no problems. I had very few problems. From a, I don't know how to say it. From a balance standpoint, almost on the front squat, it just didn't provide the base for a push that I was expecting it to provide.
Okay.
So I felt a lot of insecurity.
Forward?
So I felt like I was rocking
side to side.
Yeah.
So again, does this feel like it's a heel issue then?
It might be.
Okay.
So it felt like, and you can kind of look at the back of these. They're relatively flat, but it just didn't feel like weight was evenly distributed side to side.
So you had to control that.
Yeah.
with much more effort.
Yeah.
And that would take away from the lift itself.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's put that one aside and let's bring out this is the Under Armour Tribase Thrive.
Yes.
Okay. So again, let's go back to the beginning. You put this shoe on, it was very similar to MetCon in the store.
Very similar feel.
Okay. We had a lacing issue or a security issue where you felt like you were sliding up out of the shoe on the Nike. What about the Under Armour?
I do not have that issue at all.
Okay.
At all.
Okay. So what's the difference in the rear foot here versus the rear foot there?
So where I mentioned that this one didn't provide security through the midfoot that I expected with the laces being tied, this one was locked in from heel to toe. I was surprised by that.
So much more secure feel right away.
Yeah, and we showed this earlier, but there's enough room in the toe box for my toes to move, but there's not too much.
Right.
And the fabric is a much stiffer fabric than I would describe this as.
I did notice that.
Yeah.
Notice that as well. This is reinforced. So again, in the store, we were looking at this, and while it does sort of have this fabric-y one piece kind of a thing, it does have this reinforcement throughout it, like a web of reinforcement, which did seem to be good in the store, but clearly you weren't as satisfied as you were moving dynamically. This, on the other hand, is more representative of what we were looking for the security shoe.
It is very consistent from heel to toe. I feel like the same amount of cushioning and same amount of security that I was getting on the heel, I was getting at the toe, and just front to back.
Okay. All right.
very secure feeling shoe.
Okay, so what about the straight ahead?
It was good. I mean, I didn't notice anything that would. I didn't think about the shoe.
So it did distract you from
I mean,
the task.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Is like when you're running or you're doing anything athletically, you don't want to be thinking about the footwear that you're using.
Well, you don't want to have to feel like you're going to slide out of the shoe.
So this didn't provide me any negative feedback that I would think, crap, I'm gonna run out of the shoe. I'm gonna roll my ankle or anything like that.
So as you're doing the hurdle jumps and the hops, so obviously that's going to drive you forward in the shoe. What did you feel at that point as far as security goes? Did you feel like you were sliding around? Because you did mention something about the toes when we first put the shoes on.
Right. I felt like it did have it's got a wider toe box, so I felt like just because of the shape of the shoe that I would be sliding forward or slamming my toes in the front of the shoe when I did jumping. I didn't notice that at all.
Okay. What about the memory foamy kind of a
sensation?
Right.
So there is in this shoe you can feel memory foam in the shoe, and especially at the toe. I didn't see that as it doesn't really feel like a positive or negative to me. This one does not have that in it, and it felt nice and rigid. This one still had the rigidity that I would look for in a shoe, but it was also, I mean, it's kind of nice to just think like, okay, I've got a comfortable shoe on, right? Like it's form-fitting to my foot.
Gotcha. Okay, now, so here's the big question. Now, this is going to be a really weighty comparison.
Right.
Is the side to side?
Yeah.
Okay, so we did some dynamic side to side, and then we did a pretty vicious 5-10-5 cut. So talk me through those.
We'll start with the box. The box stuff, I didn't notice anything that would make me think about the shoe while I was using it. Okay. My weight felt evenly distributed. I didn't feel like I wasn't clunky on my feet. I was getting off the turf, for me, quickly. I don't want to say quickly and have somebody dice the video apart. But for me, it was quick. And I'll tell you what, with the 5-10-5, we've got a small sample size right now, but this was a very, very good shoe for the 5-10-5.
Okay. What about on the platform then? Any issues on the platform?
I didn't have any issues on the platform. The sole, as opposed to this one where we kind of had some rocking feeling, I felt locked into the ground. My foot is comfortable in it. And again, I just like a shoe that I don't have to feel like I'm thinking about wearing it.
Right. So as far as the secure feeling, even in the front squat, you felt like you were grounded, you were secure, no rocking issues at all.
Right.
Okay. So two really good evaluations then. So now we got to give them a letter grade, and I know how much you love letter grades. So we're the last two shoes that we tested really didn't make the cut at all. So let's give me a letter grade for the is it the MetCon?
The MetCon 5X. So
5X.
I do have to make a comment. These are sold with a heel lift in it. We did not use the heel lift.
So I can't even imagine using a heel lift in a shoe where you feel like you're going to slide out of the shoe.
So I can't imagine honestly having an extra inch and a half of room back here in this. It would drive me straight out of the shoe. Yeah. So this is with the basic shoe. Okay. I would give this one a B. I think it was a good shoe.
Okay.
I don't know the cost. If we're looking at something like that, this is an expensive shoe.
Right.
It's Nike. It looks nice. It looks very nice.
Right.
For performance.
Right.
Though,
but so it also has a sticker on it.
It does.
And so when we look at this really cool gold design, there's a sticker on it that was kind of off-putting a little bit there, and it says on the inside, it says
the chrome finish will flake off with use over time.
Okay. So even if I'm going for looks, this will eventually lose its looks.
It will not look great after a while. Yeah, and they've advertised that on the shoe.
Okay, so at least they're honest, and I appreciate that. Right. So we got a solid B.
It's a solid B. It's not the by far much better than I expected it. I think you expected it to look.
I wouldn't have. I was hoping for something lower than that.
Right.
Just because of my bias, my personal bias, and the history of having tested them. Okay, Under Armour, Tribase Thrive.
And I hate saying this because I don't like you to be. I don't want him to be this right about this. But this was an A shoe.
So this is great because again, I've talked about Under Armour in the past about how they've evolved and how the early shoes really weren't that good, and then they hit on some that I really liked as training shoes, and it's been a struggle to find a good training shoe that I really liked and that I can recommend to people.
Yeah.
And so this seems to fall so far in this quest, if you will. That this is our A shoe so far.
Right. I mean, I want people to know I was trying to find stuff wrong with this shoe, and I couldn't.
Okay.
I mean, there was just nothing about it that was a concern to me, was an afterthought, was anything that would hinder me during a workout. I just didn't find anything like that.
Right, and I know you're an old man shoe guy.
Right.
So if you were gonna pick a training shoe for yourself, this is what you would
Right now,
go
this
with,
is
right?
it, yeah.
Okay, so that's the A shoe.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our winner so far. So this gets to move forward, so to speak, in the tournament of champions of shoes on the Shoe Quest. And so we'll just have to find something that we will make this our standard of comparison, and then everything else will be compared to that.
Absolutely.
Okay, fair enough. Awesome. Thanks.
Yep.